Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for update 28 of Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. We're going to start off as always with a quick sound check. Make sure your speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful! So, what have we got for you this week? Well, we are in the midst of a month of Meatmas fun. So we've got the Meatmas Advent calendar going on, as I mentioned in a prior video. And basically, I thought I'd show off basically what this morning's gift was, and also talk about some non-Meatmas things that are being worked on, as well as announcing a contest for the H3 subreddit. So let's take a look at our new toy. This was just added very, very early this morning. This is an MP9. Those of you who've been playing Counter-Strike for a very long time will recognize this, or something very similar, as the tactical marine pistol, though it's manufactured by someone different than it was back then. This one has a suppressor which is permanently affixed to it. It's sort of unique to it, and the main reason for that is that the suppressor itself has a sort of undermounted rail, and having that be removable ended up causing some problems because the way the suppressor rotates. So it's permanently affixed. Let's go ahead and pop that in. We've got a 25-round box mag for it. Got a collapsible stock. The charging handle is back here. Let's see here. It's a cross bolt fire selector, so safe, doesn't fire, single, and full. Way too much fun. Dump that out. Nice fast fire rate. Especially helpful when you can't aim like myself. So yeah, so that's in here now. I thought I'd also just cover, just because a couple folks keep asking on the YouTube comments and on the subreddit about whether if you're gone for part of the holidays or haven't picked up the game yet because you're going to be playing with Rift and Touch, whether you can still open the Advent boxes. You can indeed. The game keeps track of them. Now, the various goodies do automatically get added to the item spawner system on that given day. And so if you don't want to necessarily have them all be spoiled, I would recommend, once you jump in, going and opening your Advent boxes before doing anything else. So yeah. Oh, and also, what got added with the MP9, some more holiday goofiness. Let's see here, nope. Attachments, decorative. We have a Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer rail attachment set. Let's put some antlers on, and a nice red nose. Perfect. Ready to fight its way through the night on Christmas Eve. Perfect. So cool. So that's the new stuff for Meatmas. For today, let's go ahead and jump over to the UGS lobby, so I can show you something else that's been added in the past day or two. So we are over in a brand new template that some of you may have seen shots of from my Twitter and such for the UGS system. This is called FreightAtHome. And the whole concept behind it is it's sort of like we're inside of a giant sort of sci-fi shipping container that's been converted into our apartment, our workspace, our play space, what have you. And this sort of grew out of basically getting sick of working on UGS tools just sitting in a near empty void sort of environment. So let's go ahead and move around. If we get another vantage point here, we can totally see that we are surrounded by a field of other shipping crates. This is still work in progress. There's some simpler sort of light environment tiles that I still want to put in. I want to basically put in sort of a metal gantry way that's up against these windows so we can actually get up and look out, as I actually bothered to create quite a distant view that we're not quite tall enough to see here. But this is sort of designed around being just a really sort of mutable space. This sort of plinth here is exactly 16 meters by 16 meters, which might be convenient for folks who want to measure out and have, whether it's targets or other constructions at a at a really sort of standardized dimension set. And that's sort of what the direction that I'm going to be taking with all of the early templates that I do for the UGS system, and that they're still going to have a sort of bold style to them one way or another, whether it's sort of colorful sci-fi or really muted office or, sort of dimly lit cave. But the whole point is to make them as mutable as possible so that I'm not necessarily prefiguring what you want to do with the spaces, but making them as open as possible while still being sort of detailed and interesting and really optimized. So yeah, one other little UGS detail. This came after frequent request from a number of folk. When you have a kinematically locked entity tool here, that's say frozen in the air when we drop it, you can now drag these directly into a quickbelt even when they're locked, and it will just drop it in, and that automatically turns the locking off. So when you take them back out, you will have to click down on the touchpad to relock them. Otherwise, they will fall to the ground. But yeah, so hopefully that should make it slightly more convenient to grab a tool and go. So yeah, so as I said, this is a system that is going to evolve very slowly over the course of, well, the next 2 to 3 months. But jump into the scene and just let me know how it feels to you. Tell me what you think of the scale, the color, the lighting, etc. So yeah, so let's jump out of VR and talk about our contest for the month.
Yo! So now that we're back out of VR here, let's talk quickly about the other stuff that went into this update, just a couple changes and fixes, and then we'll talk about the contest. So other stuff that has gone into this update is, for those of you who are going to be playing the game with touch, the game should properly detect the fact that you're using touch controllers and display a sort of holographic wire version of the controller that matches them. I've tested it with a few folk and it appeared to work. If it breaks for some reason or it doesn't detect, please let me know immediately. The alignment is not perfect yet, and part of that is I think Steam may be finalizing its touch implementation, because I used their model and pivot in setting up my own hands, but it doesn't seem to exactly match where the touch controller is yet. So hopefully, if that gets fixed basically between now and the 6th, I'll of course push an update to make sure they're 100% aligned. What else? Oh, the whole kinematic locked objects going into your quickbelt fix for the entity tools also applies to the few kinematically locked objects that are in the rest of the game. So whether that's the options panel or a movable table, you can now drag them into your quickbelt when they're in the locked mode, and it will just unlock them. Cool. A touchpad menu sort of behavior has been changed, which is now when you go to click the touchpad down, if you're just holding it, it will basically only do one command until you lift your thumb and click again. So the instance of, say, jumping up to the second level of the touchpad menu and then immediately accidentally going to the main menu shouldn't be possible anymore. I added a haptic buzz to a couple things here and there, like hitting objects with a melee weapon. And then in terms of fixes, that glitch involving blocks entities in edit mode not showing their material correctly should be fixed. Let me know if it still glitches out. As well as the broken entity editor. I was actually working on a third tool called the Entity Manipulator, and I accidentally overwrote the prefab and all of its settings for the editor instead, which was disastrous. I had to rebuild the tool, or at least its in-scene representation, but that's been fixed now. G36C foregrip that was sort of causing the rifle to be dropped due to it was a distance check issue that should be fixed. And most importantly, I've changed the sort of physics sweep checking behavior for melee weapons to try to make them better at not, if you're swinging them really fast, just getting embedded in what you've hit, where they've sort of moved past the outside and are jammed in. This was happening a ton with the crowbar. This should behave way more reliably now in terms of actually stopping the weapon when you hit something, but it has come at an increased performance cost. So if you happen to notice that the game is hitching or seizing up when you're doing melee combat in a way that it wasn't before, please let me know. Everything seemed all clear on my side when I was profiling it, but I have a pretty beefy machine here, so I want to make sure that that didn't really mess things up for those of you with, CPUs that are on the weaker end of things. So cool. So that is that's this update. Let's jump over here to our contest details. So what are we doing here? We are doing, because the H3 subreddit is about to hit 1,000 subs. Yeah! I have decided to do a contest for our Meatmas holiday, which is a Meatmas holiday card contest. So to enter, what you have to do is make a your standard sort of 3x5 both sides holiday postcard. Themed after H3 Meatmas, or if there's some other sort of ridiculous pun involving the game and a sort of winter holiday, by all means, run with it. The more groan-worthy the puns, the better. The sort of full rules will be posted on a sticky thread on the H3 subreddit /r/H3VR. Let's see here. But the important ones are basically just it should basically be two sides. It can be one image or two separate images that should be at least 525 by 700 pixels, because that's 150 pixels per inch for a postcard size. The image should be in that aspect ratio. And that's mainly it. There's going to be a couple different award categories for them, because I know some of you make art and some of you are like, I guess I can open up Microsoft Paint or Photoshop. So this should, if those of you who don't know how to do, sort of professional digital art or anything like that, should not discourage you from entering this contest at all. We have categories for you as well. And so the categories are going to be the Positively Painful Pun Award, the Do I Look Like I Know What a JPEG Is Award, the Used More Than $5 of Photoshop Award, which is sort of the Best Image Award, the Subreddit's Choice Award, where you guys will vote on which one you think is the best, and then the sort of grand prize, which is just the Meatiest Card Award. The prizes are going to include some Rust apparel, like this sweet and incredibly comfy hoodie. Not this specific one, a new one, just in case you're like, that's grody, I don't want your specific hoodie. Copies of the game, and then a couple really fun ones, like one of the prizes is you being turned into a Tippy toy in the game. One of the prizes is you getting to help me design a special grenade for the game, whatever sort of your wild imagination can come up with, and then lastly a holiday meat pack, which I will curate, as I am a connoisseur of holiday meats and cheeses. So yeah, so as I said, it'll be stickied on the H3 subreddit right above or below where this devlog will be stickied. Oh, and timing. Basically, the deadline for submission is December 18th, and I will be announcing the winners on December 23rd. And all of us here at Rust, as well as our two wonderful subreddit mods, will be judging everything in the time period between that. So enter, win some cool stuff, make weird meaty things. And I hope you all are really enjoying the Meatmas update. I know I'm just racing away on a treadmill, making sure that the advent calendar boxes are ready each night. So yeah, so let me know if you're enjoying everything as it's going so far on the comments that I've linked in the video description here. So enjoy, peace.